Welcome back to another episode of A Sudden Scientific Railgun. So first of all, sorry for the delay. I've been very busy lately, but yeah, in the previous episode, we saw what happened when Saturn got the level upper. Right, so she got the level upper and she took it with her friends, so she listened to it with her friends, and then towards the end of the episode, she also fell into a coma, right? And we found out what's causing the coma. It's the EEG, the brain activity, the brain waves that are being basically forcefully altered into a certain EEG that can synchronize with others, right? And by doing that, it basically connects it to a network of brains of EEGs and raises the overall power level of those brains. And we found out that it's all this researcher, the shipping woman's doing. She is the one who's doing this, and the reason why everyone's falling into a coma is because forcefully changing an EEG of a person can puts a big stress on their body, and it basically causes them to eventually faint. So yeah, that was a big thing there. And we also found out that basically it's doing this by simulating a certain sense of synesthesia, right, within the people, and acting as a testament, I believe they called it, which is also kind of interesting. So yeah, some cool stuff happening here, but we'll find out where it's gonna go. So if you wanna watch this uncut and unblurred, as always, on Patreon in the description, and let's go into A Sudden Scientific Railgun, episode 11. Here we go. Yep. Wow! She's making a supercomputer, basically, with actual brains. I mean, that's not the way to go about it, Harumi. Kiyama Harumi, right? That's not a way to go about it. You can't be like, well, I'm gonna basically put all these people into a coma just for a bit so that I can do my calculations, and then after it, we're just gonna uninstall this and it's all going to be good. You can't just do that. You can't just play with people's lives like this. Nice anti-skill. Get her ass. Nice, here she is, the teacher. Get her ass, smoker. She's so ominous. She's so ominous. I guess we'll see. Let's see, what do you have planned?
両手を頭の後ろに組んで、その場でうつ伏せになれ。人質の少女は無事です。うん。確保じゃん。
She's not lying on the floor. Oh! Okay, so she's now gone full directly hurting people. Okay. She's not trying to pretend anymore.
早くここから逃げてください。お客さん。黒子、どうなってるの？黒子。檜山がアンチスキルと構成してますの。それも能力を使って。彼女、能力者だったの？バンクには檜山が能力開発を受けたという記録はないの？
I mean, she's part of the system. Because she's using her own EEG, right? As a base to synchronize to. Yup. She can use everyone's abilities. What? Yeah. That makes sense? I don't know, I feel like there's only one man who can defeat her. Yeah, it's definitely not just dual skill. Barrier? Is she using like static electricity for that? I think so, right? Uh-oh. Ow! Hello? Okay, she's fine. The animation's really good. What about all of the anti-skill right now? Yeah. Tell her, Misaka, tell her! Yeah, she's a piece of shit. What do you mean? Ma'am, you cannot get away with what you've done. No, absolutely not. The researchers are inhumane. Oh, we know. We know that the upper brass is like pieces of shit.
べさせてもらうわ。
That's so cool.
まだ捕まるわけにはいかない。空きか。蔵人。
Oh,
どうする。
that's it.
すごいな。だが、
She teleported one.
どう？ざっとこんなもんよ。もうおしまいな。もっと手こずるかと思ったが、
Hey.
こんなものか。レベル5。恨んでもらって構わんよ。捕まえ。
Oh,
バカな。
how?
磁力で即席の盾を組み上げたのか。ゼロ距離からの電撃。あのバカには効かなかったけど、いくらなんでもあんなとんでも能力までは持
Nope,
って
she
ないわよ
most certainly
ね。
does not.
浅い。
Nice. It's Pikachu and Ash. Nice. Good one,
一応手加
Misaka.
減はしといたから。何？頭の中に直接。
Huh?
これは木山晴美の記憶。
Why? Wait, what?
私と木山の間に電気を介した回線がつながって。
It can do that.
木山先生。私が教師に。
So she must have found out something about the higher brass that made her go insane like this.
ええ。なら教鞭をとっても何もおかしくはないじゃないか。しかし、あれはついでに取っただけで。研究から離れろと言っているわけではないよ。それどころか、統括理事会肝入りの実験を任せたいと思っているんだ。本当ですか？あの子供たち。彼らはチャイルドエラーといってね、何らかの事情で学園都市に捨てられた身寄りのない子供たちだ。そして今回の実験の被験者であり、君が担当する生徒になる。実験を成功させるには、被験者の詳細な成長データを取り、細心の注意を払って調整を行う必要がある。だったら、担任として受け持った方が手間が省けるでしょ。それは、そうかもしれませんが。ああ、今日から君たちの担任になった木山晴美だ。よろし
She
く。
must have gotten attached to them and then she saw something that made her disillusioned with the entire thing, right? Classic.
先生大丈夫？ああ、晴れてることだし、干しておけばすぐに乾く。こんなとこで着替えないで。男子、あっち向いてろ。ダメだよ。別に先生のペチャパイ見てもし
Yeah?
ょうがねえよな。ペチャ。子供は嫌いだ。デリカシーがない。先生ってモテねえだろ。彼氏いんの？何？なんなら俺が付き合ってやろうか。失礼だし。そしてこのように。
Ooh.
いたずらするし。どうしたんだ？何か困ったことがあるのなら先生。論理的じゃないし。ああ、好き嫌いしちゃダメなんだよ。ああ、慣れ慣れしいし、すぐに懐いてくる。
This seemed like a good class, though. A bit mischievous, but not harmful.
どうした、枝先。あ、木山先生。滑って転んじゃった。私
私のマンションはすぐそこだが、風呂貸そうか。
Hmm.
風呂がそんなに嬉しいか。
うちの施設、週2回のシャワーだけだもん。ねえ、本当に入っていいの？
ああ、
やったー！みんなに自慢しちゃおうっと。
Palm Sonic.
先生、私でも頑張ったらレベル4とか5になれるかな？
Where does it start
何
turning
とも言えないな。高レベルの
from a
能力者
wholesome story to a different
も
one?
ちろんそれもあるけど、私たちは学園都市に育ててもらってるから、この町の役に立てるようになりたいなって。
研究の時間がなくなってしまった。本当に迷惑だ。子供は嫌い。
Hmm. I feel like
騒がしいし、デリカシーがない。
it's coming.
俺の彼女になんなよ。
はいはい。失礼だし。
She's getting attached to them. She's getting used to them.
私、論理的じゃないし。
先生、お誕生日おめでと好き嫌いは
しちゃダメだったな。子供は
I'm worried. What happened? What happened? Something big must have happened to make her this disillusioned with the entire situation.
チクッとするよ。
数値に異常はないか。こちらは問題ありません。こちらも大丈夫です。よし、わかった。
怖くないか。
全然。だって木山先生の実験なんでしょ？先生のこと信じてるもん。
これで先生ごっこもおしまいか。
ドーパミン値低下中。抗コリン剤の効果ありません。広範囲熱傷による低用量接触か。乳酸から逃げる液、輸血急げ。無理です。これ以上は早く病院に連絡を。ああ、いいからいいから。しかし、このままでは。浮き足立ってないでデータをちゃんと集めなさい。
This is the researcher that we're used to.
については署内に刊行令を敷く。実験はつつがなく終了した。君たちは何も見なかった。いい。
This is... Yeah, this is
木山君。
what feels like the norm for Academy City.
彼らには気の毒だが、
That's
科学の
horrible.
発展にはつきものだよ。今回の事故は気にしなくていい。君には今後も期待しているから。
Okay, I will say though, it is kind of crazy, even from Kiyama. Like, it seems like she knew exactly what this entire research was, right? And even if she obviously didn't know that it was going to result in, you know, that was going to fail like this, she must have known if she worked on it that there was a possibility that if something goes wrong, this could happen. And they still went ahead with live experimentation with these kids, with all of them at the same time, not even like one of them or anything along those lines. They went in with the kids. She knew what the risks were. Right? As I said, I don't think obviously that she ever expected it to fail, but like she did not seem like she was against using those kids as part of the experiment, right? Part of her experiment here. I don't know how, maybe she wasn't, maybe she didn't know. Maybe genuinely she was just a small part of the experiment. of the staff, right? Maybe she didn't know the nitty-gritty behind it. Ugh.
今のは見られたのか。
道がなくなってる。
Also, doesn't surprise me that was happening in Academy City. We saw what the researchers
なんであんなこと。
can get up to. That's very much in line with everything else we saw.
AIM 拡散力場を制御するための実験とされていた。が、実際は暴走能力の法則解析用誘爆実験だ。AIM 拡散力場を刺激して暴走の条件を知るのが本当の目的だったというわけさ。じゃあ、暴走は意図的に仕組まれていた。
Oh, maybe. Okay, I guess she didn't know.
気づいたのは
Okay, I guess she didn't know anything about the research.
しんどい実験。あの子たちは
So she was basically only used to lure the kids in.
今なお眠り続けている。私たちはあの子たちを使い捨てのモルモットにしたんだ。
They're in a coma. I thought they died. Interesting.
そんなことがあったんなら、アンチスキルに通報して。23回。
Yeah, ain't no way.
回復手段を探るため、そして事故の原因を究明するシミュレーションを行うために、ツリーダイアグラムの使用を申請した回数だ。ツリーダイアグラムの演算能力をもってすれば、あの子たちを助けられるはずだった。もう一度太陽の下を走らせてやることもできただろう。だが却下された。23回とも全て。統括理事会が来るなんだ。アンチスキルが動くわけがない。だからってこんなやり方、君に何がわかる。あの子たちを救うためなら、私は何だって。
This is not the way to go about it, though.
街の全てを敵に回してもやめるわけにはいかないんだ。
You shouldn't come at the expense of other people like this. I guess what you're coming from, but
ネットワークの暴走。これを。
what? What?
あれ、大使。
A fetus? Is this born out of an AIM field? What? I'm guessing that's actually, let me talk after the ending. Okay. Okay, so this was a crazy episode. So, yeah, she has obviously a backstory that is very tragic that made her kind of like lose her mind, right? A bit. Obviously, it doesn't excuse what she's doing whatsoever, right? Because you do not get to choose who you get to hurt and not whose lives you get to play around with for the sake of your own goals. And she's definitely playing God in a way, right? By putting everyone else in danger. Who knows what could have happened to everyone who fell into a coma because of the level up? Or what if they fell into a coma at a very inconvenient time? Right? What if they were driving, they fell into a coma, got into an accident, killed a bunch of people because of it, and themselves, maybe? What if, you know, anything happened? What if they fell into a coma, they suddenly just fell down and hit their head on the floor, and you know how much damage that can do, right? So, yeah, obviously she was playing around with people's lives, and it's not excusable no matter what the reason, but there is a part that, after seeing the backstory, that you can see why she went crazy with this kind of research, right? It is definitely a research of someone who has been through a lot and is kind of like losing sight of how to do things, right? She has been going a bit crazy over it. So, yeah, that is a tragic backstory. As I said, it's not something that is unexpected to us, especially because we've seen Index, right? So we know what lengths the researchers are gonna go to through to achieve data, to get data, right, on stuff. We know what they're prepared to do to either get data or to see, let's say, if they can power someone up, like the accelerator arc, or not even the accelerator arc, the sisters arc, right? They are definitely the kinds of people who would just prioritize you know, pure data and stuff like that over any kind of morals. So it doesn't surprise me that they did what they did, right? It seems like Kiyama actually didn't know about it prior to going into the experiment. It's like the kid said, oh, it's your experiment. Obviously it wasn't her experiment. I think she was kind of, as I said earlier, used as someone to lure in the kids, right? And then the kids were just experimented on, knowing very well by the higher brass what's going to happen to them, right? Or what could happen to them. So yeah, that was unfortunate, but we'll see how it's gonna go, right? We'll see. Oh, that entire fetus there at the end, that was interesting. It seems like it was born out of her AIM field, right? Kind of reminds me of Hyoka back in Index, right? How she was born from like the AIM diffusion fields from everyone around her. It seems like this was born out of this AIM field, which is, if I'm not mistaken, all of the AIM fields are kind of linked, right? Because of the EEG being linked or synchronized, right? So I'm guessing this is kind of like a fetus born out of all of those AIM fields being linked into this thing here. I don't know what it is. We'll see, but that was interesting. We'll find out what that was all about. So yeah, crazy stuff happening here. But for now, I'm gonna end it here. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.